Hey guys, welcome back. So today I'm going to be doing my last bridal trial makeup look. Now, I knew I wanted to do more of these, and if I have time, I will definitely do one more that is more drugstore. But I did do a previous one where it's testing out just different makeup products, a different makeup look to see what I want to wear for my wedding day. I think this is going to be the last one because I feel in my bones that this is the look that I'm going to do because it's one of those staple classic bridal looks. Just something really pretty, and I just don't think I'm going to switch it up. Maybe I will do a drugstore version of this look because I just feel like this is it, you know? And I think you guys will really enjoy it. It's one of those classic looks you can use for if you want to do it every day. You can wear this look if you're going on a date night. Just switch up the lip color if you want to wear it in the fall time. You know what I'm saying? It's up to you. I was going to put on a fancy like white shirt, but then I was like, what if I get makeup on it? Anyways, if you guys are interested in this video, then definitely keep watching. And let me know down below if you want me to do a drugstore version of this look, and I will definitely do that for you guys. And yeah, if you want to see my probably last bridal trial makeup look, then let's just go ahead and get started. Alright, so let me prep my green tea before we get started. I love this Honest green tea. I actually just got a package, was it over the weekend? I think it was over the weekend, with like 13 of these, and I've already drank them all, and it's only Wednesday. Alright, moving on. Let's start off with the eyes. So first off, we are going to use my favorite primer, one that I know eyeshadow will stay on all day. It's the Smashbox Photo Finish Lid Primer in Light. You definitely want an eyeshadow primer. If this is the first bridal trial you're seeing, definitely get an eyeshadow primer because it's going to keep your makeup on all day long. Well, your eyeshadow. That wouldn't put this on your face. This is a great one because it does have that tint, so it just cancels out any redness. If you have any veins, it covers that up. It's just a great base to have. I mentioned this before, but I highly recommend setting it with a powder just so it's locked in all day, and I'll show you guys how I do that here. So I pulled out some of my best items for this look. Like, I'm not kidding when I say my best items. I have the Natasha Denona Blackest Black. I've had a hard time speaking today. I pulled out my Natasha Denona Blackest Black Matte eyeshadow. I was not playing any games today. This look is going to be bomb. And then I also brought out my Natasha Denona. Did I use Natasha Denona in my last bridal trial? This one is the one with like the green, brown, stuff like that. A couple of these kind of cracked, which is why it's everywhere. But so this is what I'll be using today. I do recommend, I don't know if Smashbox still has it out, but there was a Smashbox palette that was really great for this kind of look. It had like 9 eyeshadows, 2 bronzers, 2 highlighters, and then some brow products in it. I can't remember what it's called, but I don't have it in my drawers, so I'm going to take a wild guess and say it's not available anymore. But I'm going to look it up online and check it out. If it is, I will link that down below because that is a great alternative for this look because it has everything that you need and it's just really easy and the shadows are amazing. I am going to go in with this pinky cream shade right here in the Natasha Denona palette, and I'm going to set my entire lid with this so that we have a nice even base. Also, the look that I'm doing is pretty simple. I feel like even if you're somewhat of a beginner with makeup, you could probably do this look because it's just a few steps to get your eyeshadow done, which I really appreciate because, you know, for your wedding day, if you're going to do your own makeup, you don't want to be sitting there for 5 hours doing your shadow, you know what I'm saying? I am still going to be doing my own makeup just because why spend the money when I can do it myself, you know? So I'm just going to do my makeup. I know what works for me. It's just all about picking the right products that I want to use for the day. That being said, we're going to move on to the next shadow. So I'm going to use this shadow right here. I'm going to use it into the crease as our transition shade. But first I'm going to zoom you guys in. If you're wondering what's going on with my hand, I just filmed an Amazon makeup look. We're not going to talk about it here. It was rough. And then another sad thing, I looked at, like I was going to Snapchat my Fiji vlog on my computer because I'm editing it, like finishing it up. And the camera was facing me and I was like, whoa, girl, it was ugly. So anyways, I'm going to take that shade and we're going to go into the crease. I have mentioned to you guys before, I know I'm like a broken record talking about Natasha Denona. Every time I use these, I just, I enjoy it and I know it's gonna be good, you know what I mean? So I'm so sorry. I feel bad for always using these palettes, but I did buy them and I do want to use them, so I mean that's why I use them constantly and I love them. I promise you, I'm just trying to get my use out of it too, because most of the time when I do my makeup, it's gonna be for YouTube videos. In my day-to-day life, I don't wear makeup every single day, just because a lot of the times I don't have time. I'm trying to get other stuff done. But whenever I'm filming, you know, I like to go ahead and use things that I love and that I want to get good use out of. And then when I'm also testing things out, sometimes, you know, these get put, like I haven't used this palette in a while. This is just our all over transition color so that when we put the darker shades on, it will fade up to the brow and look very seamless. Highly important. I recommend doing that. Next up, we will go in with this brown right here. So I'm using mostly all matte shades till we get to one particular shade, which you guys will see. So all matte shades till we get there. We're pretty much using only 4 eyeshadows in this look, so use whatever you have that you feel like looks similar. So I'm going to go in with this deep brown and a Sigma E25. Tap it off. I'm going to put this in the outer V and throw it into my crease as well. Going a little over halfway with the blending, but focusing it mainly here on the outer V. I have more downturned eyes. I used to call my eyes like sad puppy dog eyes because they're so downturned that I can do like a really good sad face, and like when I cry it's like really sad. At least I think so. I like to do looks, especially for big events like a wedding, or if I'm going to a really nice event, things that's really going to open up the eye and make me look more awake, which is why some people wouldn't do wing liner for their wedding. I would do wing liner just because it really lifts them up and opens up that eye for me. It really is all about kind of customizing your makeup look to your eye shape, and you know, that's a lot of the reason why people do the same technique on their eyes, because it just looks good. I just know that this style looks good on my eyes, and I know it looks good in photos, which is why I think I'm gonna go with this one. Even though the last bridal trial I did, I loved the color. I might actually do that for the rehearsal dinner because I loved it so much. I think I'm gonna actually, the day of, watch that video and recreate that look, because I really loved the colors and it kind of went along with the wedding. So now I'm going to go back in with this transition shade we use, and I'm going to lightly blend out those edges with it just so it's all nice and seamless. And you can go a little bit over the brown just to really blend that out. Alright, so the next shadow we're going to use is the Natasha Denona Blackest Black eyeshadow. This is the blackest black eyeshadow that I have, and it also blends very, very well. It's really easy to work with. I feel like if you're a beginner, this would be a great eyeshadow to work with if you want to incorporate black. Sometimes black eyeshadow can be choppy, it can be hard to work out, and sometimes it can really ruin a makeup look. This is not the case with this one. It's very pigmented. Go in with a light hand and you'll be set. I'm just going to tap my brush in there. And I'm going to focus this right in the outer V. I'm not going to go in further like I did with the brown. I'm just going to focus it right out here to deepen up the look. Just like that. Then what I'm going to do is go back into the first palette. Take that brown and I'm going to lightly just go over the edges of this black and blend it out. So I'm going back into the crease and really making sure it's all nice and faded out and blending out the edges of it. So it's not all completely black because we're putting some brown in here, but it's still pretty deep on the outer V. Now if you don't want something this smoky, skip the black, just stick with the brown and then do the next shadow that I'm going to show you, and you'll be good. But y'all know I'm dramatic, okay? But just because you have this right here and you feel like, whoa, that's intense, don't be afraid just yet. Next up, we're gonna do the final eyeshadow, and it is going to be this one. Now, you could do a matte cream shadow to keep this all matte and seamless. I don't know if I'm gonna go with matte or if I'm gonna go with this one. This one's in the palette, so I'm gonna use it. It's not super glittery or anything like that. It's just a really pretty glowy shade. So I'm going to use the MAC 242. In case you guys are wondering, I do have a full video mentioning my favorite brushes. I will link that down below or right up here if you want to check that out. But we're going to go in with this shade, and then we're going to put this right in the areas that we did not put shadow. So right in that area. As you guys can see, this brush is curved on the top, so it makes it really easy to carve out this crease. You see that? So this is the brush I like to use to pack on lid color and all that kind of stuff, because it just goes right there in the crease and carves it out. I do like this shadow in here, but I will probably go with a matte cream color that is super pigmented. But we'll see what this looks like in the end as well, because sometimes these look better. I'm going to take this brush right here. I'm just going to dust this. So I just dusted this right here on the edges to blend them all together so that they're seamless. So you can see it's a little choppy here. All you do is take a little bit of light pressure. This is why I love these shadows. And blend them and you're good. So this is the eyeshadow. That's it. What was that? Counting the color to set the eyeshadow primer, it was 5 shades. You probably have these 5 colors in your collection just because they're kind of staple colors. I feel like that every palette pretty much has. So we'll fix everything else in a little bit, like these outer corner edges. We will fix all of that because we have foundation to put on. I'm going to be trying out this liner for a little while. This is from Amazon. It's a felt tip eyeliner pen. So I'm actually probably going to upload this one before that Amazon video, so you kind of already know that I like this. But I did like this eyeliner. I was going to go in with my Makeup Forever ink liner, but the only thing is I have been having the biggest issue with it running here in the inner corner. Like, it kind of runs down, and it's not even because my eyes get watery. It just, for some reason, just like runs on my eyes. The weirdest thing. I am not going to be using that for my wedding day, I have found out, because I just don't want to chance it. I don't want to worry about it for pictures, and I don't want to have to worry about my makeup for the rest of the night. So this one I just tried, but it does a really great job at creating that wing liner, and it's a very pointy felt tip. So that's it. I brought it all the way here in the inner corner, and now I'm going to follow my lower lash line up and out to create the wing. And having this inner color right here nice and bright, you can have that smoky look, but it's not going to overwhelm the eye, close your eye off, anything like that. So keeping this inner part light and bright, I feel like is key. I would recommend a waterproof liquid liner as well. If you start crying, or if you know that you're going to bawl your eyes out, I would suggest not doing a wing liner unless you use some good waterproof stuff that you've tested. Otherwise, I wouldn't recommend the wing liner, because you'll go to clean up your tears out here and you're just going to smudge that wing. Whereas if you just do a line, that's easier to clean up. Nobody's going to really notice that you're missing half your wing. Alright, and now we're ready for mascara and lashes. Mascara is not really a big deal. I'll just throw on any mascara that I have that's waterproof. I think I'm actually going to go with these. These are from Amazon. So here's the brand from Amazon. I'm going to try these out because these look like really pretty fluttery wispy lashes that would look great for a wedding day. I love these Sydney ones by Lily Lashes. I just feel like for a wedding day they're a little too dramatic. Believe it or not, I think they're a little too dramatic. Yeah, I think these are the way to go. These aren't touching my brow, but they still have a fluffy look to them. So I'm going to put those on, and I'm going to come back and we will do our face makeup. So we're back, we're ready. I'm going to go ahead and prime my face. I'm going to use my regular primers that I love and that I know I'm going to use, and that is the Smashbox Primer Water and the Kane & Austin Mattifying Primer. You don't have to actually spray that much, but I just really like the way it feels. And then I really like this Kane & Austin Mattifying Primer because it does mattify the skin, it keeps you matte, it doesn't get oily or make you look like a grease ball throughout the day, and it really does fill in your pores. It's so good. I know it has SPF 50, but I've never had an issue with it flashing back. It's just me, and you can see how much I've used it. Also, a little bit does go a long way, so I would just use, like, that's too much. I just put too much on my finger, but we're just gonna have to make that work. I would probably do this much on my finger, but we got a lot today, so we're just gonna do it. So I like to put this in the T-zone, anywhere I have texture, large pores, where foundations kind of break up on me, which is my forehead sometimes, as well as my nose breaks up really bad. But this area right here is where I have the most texture because of my rosacea, so I really make sure I focus it there. Everywhere else is just kind of like, you know, I need to prime there, but this is where I need all that pore filling. We're going to use a different foundation combo because I tried this and I love the combo. It is the YSL All Hours foundation mixed with Estée Lauder doublewear. I did go out and purchase another doublewear because a lot of you were like, they reformulated it without SPF. We're going to be using these two together. I'm using the shade Warm Honey BD50 and 3W1 Tawny to kind of lighten it up a bit. I mean, I am kind of tan now, so I don't know, we might have to fix that, but we will see. Okay, so I'm actually going to use the shade 4-in-1. They last so well and they look so good on the skin. Now I know the YSL one has a high alcohol content and, you know, don't use it if you do not feel comfortable, but I don't use this foundation every single day. I'm fine with it for the wedding day, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to actually try to use it with a different brush today. Normally I would use my IT Cosmetics one, but it's super dirty, so I'm going to use this not so dirty one. This is a Tarte brush. I've used it like once. Just gonna put this on my skin. It just looks so freaking pretty on your skin. Like these two together, I mentioned in, what was it, what favorites video? One of my most recent favorites videos that the Estee Lauder one is good. Sometimes it can look a little cakey if you're not careful. YSL just looks beautiful on the skin but doesn't last as long as doublewear. So mixing the two together gives you that perfect combo of not having cakey skin and also getting the longevity out of both. Okay, now moving on, we're going to use the same old concealers, Tarte Shape Tape Maybelline Fit Me, because it's what I know and love and what stays on the longest. I will be using the shade Light Medium in the Tarte Shape Tape. I'm also taking this one down my nose because this concealer lasts so well on my nose. Then I will take Maybelline Fit Me in 10 Light and we will just add a little bit of this to add for a highlight. Then I'm going to take a brush. I'm going to actually use that same foundation brush and blend it out. Normally I don't use brushes, but right now I don't feel like getting up and wetting my sponge, which is very lazy of me. Fully aware. I feel like there hasn't been a concealer to compare to Tarte Shape Tape. Like, it's just so freaking good. So full coverage. I did go in with quite a bit, but as I go, if I notice I have too much product on my brush, I will wipe it off and go back in and blend everything out because I don't want any excess product just sitting on my skin. I do want to wipe it off. So I just keep a towel and wipe off any excess right there. Now to go in and blend out the inner corner parts right here with concealer, because it's really important to get right in there. I will either use this IT Cosmetics Airbrush Blurring Concealer or this Blurring Concealer by Smashbox. They're pretty much the same brush. Whichever one you want to get. I don't know which one's cheaper, but whichever one's cheaper. But when you put the concealer in here, it just really brightens up that area. Let me tell you, I went back and forth with this. I used it for so long. How long was it? Like whenever it first came out and it was like super hyped up. And then I kind of got away from it, used drugstore stuff, which I do have a few drugstore powders I'm obsessed with. But for big events and days that you're going to have flash and a lot of photos taken, Laura Mercier is the way to go. I mean, I used this on the Smashbox trip. I didn't have any issue with flashback. Everything looked really nice. I'm going to go in with a bigger powder brush and we're just going to set every inch of this face, because I'm very oily. I also have a smaller size that you can buy, I'm pretty sure. I used to have the smaller size, loved it. So if you didn't want to buy a big one, there is a smaller option. Okay, moving on to bronzer. I'm actually going to use this Ulta bronzer. I don't know if this is what I'm going to use the day of, but I'm going to keep testing it out. I kind of just got back into this after doing a fall makeup look. So I'm going to mix Warmth Bronze and Bombshell Bronzer. Taking it up to the forehead, because the forehead needs love too. And then to contour, this is actually from my Amazon video again. This is the What Up Beaches matte bronzer. Like, what up beaches? It's just a matte cool tone bronzer that I think is perfect for contouring. And that's what it looks like. Isn't that so pretty? It's just like a soft contour. I don't really do my forehead much because I feel like bronzer's enough, so I just kind of leave it alone. But for blush, I'm going to be using this new Tarte palette. I know I love Tarte blushes, especially their Amazonian clay blushes, which this is full of. I believe they just came out with this for maybe the holidays. I could be wrong. So I'm just going to go in with this one, which is in the shade Angelic. Look at that wash of color. So pretty. They never look like too much on your cheeks. And I feel like blush is a really important step in your bridal makeup because it just adds some color back to your face. Next up, we're going to highlight. So I know for my wedding day I'm going to use the Spotlight palette in Pearl because I feel like it just looks best on my skin. Very smooth, it doesn't accentuate my pores, it gives me a blinding highlight, and I just really like it. And obviously this is the one I use the most, but I do mix a lot of these in with it. So I am going to be using this today. If you're tired of seeing it, I'm sorry, but I love it. So gorgeous. I feel like for brides this is an essential. Do the same on this side. I'm just going to buff it in the skin so it just looks so stinking pretty, smooth, glowy, just ugh. Okay, now what I'm going to do is just fill in my brows. I am going to use the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Shape and Fill in Blonde, and then also the Benefit Precisely My Brow. So I'm going to quickly do these and then I'll be back because brows again are very personal. So do what you feel works best for you, but it takes me forever to fill in my brows. So I'm going to quickly fill them in and I'll be right back. Brows are done. Now we're going to move on to our lower lash line. So what I'm going to do for my waterline is actually use a brown liner in the shade Down to Earth. And I'm going to just bring it in halfway on the eye. Now let's move back on to shadow. So I'm going back into the Natasha Denona palette, and I'm going to go in with the brown that we used, which is this one right here. Flat definer brush from Sigma. So I'm going to dip my brush in there. I'm again going to connect this to that wing, and I'm just going to bring it in right here. Taking the littlest amount in the inner corner just to help it really blend all together. But you're just wanting to push this right up against that lower lash line so there's no spaces in between your skin and your waterline. And then I'm going to take a pencil brush and go in with the transition shade that we used. And I'm just going to lightly blend out those edges. So I'm kind of going right on top of it, but also going a little bit below to really fade it out and make it look, you see how it kind of goes from that dark brown to that lighter shade? It just looks really pretty, has like a nice gradient effect, just looks really nice. So I go a little bit on top and then I go right below. I'm using a very light hand just so it's all really smoked out nicely. And then lastly, you do want to put a waterproof mascara down on your lower lashes. I don't currently have one, so I'm just going to use this Wet n Wild Skinny Mascara. Always do waterproof though. We need to highlight our brow bone. So I'm going to take the 242 brush from MAC. Again, I'm going to take the shade that we used on our lid and I'm going to highlight the brow bone. Definitely think highlighting the brow is important. I can't believe I almost forgot that. So we're just going to pop that right there. Next up is lips. I'm still testing different lip colors out, but I'm probably going to go with something like this. Something that's definitely going to show up in photos, but something that's matte so it doesn't get everywhere. I am thinking about either the Smashbox liquid lips because I love them. They're so nice. They never get on my teeth and they're not super dry. But I've been recently experimenting with these L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Liquid Lips and I really like them. So I'm going to try this color in Nudist. But first I am going to line my lips with Palladio lip liner. It's in the shade Gingerbread. Then I'm going to go in with Nudist. L'Oreal had like a matte gloss that came out. And at first I thought this was what that was going to be, but it definitely dries down. And it's a really nice formula, so... Ooh, I like this color. Oh yeah, that's like, my kind of color. Okay guys, so this is the final look. I really like it. Like I said, this is definitely one that I will probably do for the ceremony just because I love it. It's just one of those classic looks and I just can't get enough of it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below, would you want maybe a drugstore version of this? Totally down to do that. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!